Transhumanism, Lecture 21. Uh, we'll, s- we're going to have a bit of a seminar here in class today, but we'll start with what happened during the past week. Whole bunch of stuff, as usual. Um, Anthropic and Amazon announced a partnership yesterday, um, building new data centers. If you remember, these figures I threw out over the past few weeks, that OpenAI and Anthropic both currently have about 1 gigawatt of compute power. And OpenAI have said that within the next 2 years, they want to get to 30 gigawatt. Uh, Anthropic said they're aiming for 10. And they've just announced a collaboration with Amazon, Anthropic have, for up to 5 gigawatts over the next year. This is going to cost them about $120 billion. So they announced that uh, just yesterday. I came across this graph, which really kind of blew me away. That at the bottom, we've got number of years. And at the top, we've got how much money was spent. Yeah. So this long line here is how long it took to spend $300 billion on railways in America. That took 70 years. To build all the road infrastructure and highways, that was $500 billion. All the road infrastructure and highways was $600 billion, and that took 37 years. The Apollo space program, $250 billion. That took 14 years. The Manhattan Project, the atomic bomb, 36 billion, 5 years. This is data center spending, how much we're spending on AI data centers. We've spent nearly $1 trillion in 6 years, and that's what's projected for this year's spend up there. So that's where we are now with the amount we're spending on AI. It's just a crazy graph. Google announced a whole new set of AI chips they're bringing out. Google have decided not to use NVIDIA chips anymore and have started building all their own AI chips. So they announced a whole new suite of AI chips. This was the 21st, so this is this morning. Uh, NVIDIA. Oh, there's a big trade show going on right now in Germany, Hannover Messe, and it's about manufacturing. But what's interesting is it's all AI. It's all about AI manufacturing. NVIDIA showcased this new thing they're building, the future of AI manufacturing. Um, what did they call it? They call it, oh, it ties to their Omniverse, but it's got a new name. I can't see it. AI-driven system, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they announced this new system, and what it is, it's all about world models for robots. They call it the Omniverse. Libraries and microservices for developing these robots that work in the real world in manufacturing. So this is all about NVIDIA's world models, the Omniverse thing. So they announced all that at this trade fair this week. Lenovo as well. We're talking about production scale AI there. They were saying you can develop a new manufacturing plant 85 times faster with AI, which was quite a bold claim. So they were claiming that. Siemens there announced a new engineering agent. What's different about this is it's an agent that not only carries out that not only generates suggestions and does single tasks, it now controls whole engineering tasks from start to finish. So Siemens announced this new big AI agent for manufacturing at this event as well. So lots of things coming out in manufacturing. People have been saving them up to show them at this event this week. Um, a new robotic startup that's generating a lot of interest and a lot of venture capital um, say that their robots can figure out tasks they've never been taught. So they have self-learning robots that can attack new tasks that they've never done before because they're connected to all the LLMs and everything else. It's got all this world knowledge. It can go in and start performing tasks it's never done before. So we've seen this in LLMs where they've been answered the idea that they can answer new and novel questions, but we're starting to see it in embodied systems now in robots. Uh, I went out for dinner last night with two of my grad students who graduated a few years ago. This is what we were talking about. Anthropic have just released Claude Design. If you thought Google Scratch was good, wait till you see what this can do. It's amazing. If you're in any way involved in building interfaces, you want to be on this right now. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I did mention last week, even just the rumors that they were about to release this, Figma and Canva stock dropped by 15%. And now it's come out. It's yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mentioned that Anthropic also dropped Claude 4.7 last last week. We're now starting to get some feedback on it, and uh, people are saying it's the first AI that actually reasons through tasks and tells you why it's doing things. Um, they tested it on the 7 stress tests, and it outperformed over almost every other LLM. So the new Optus 4.7 Claude, the new Claude model, seems to be the best one at the moment. But we're only just starting to get benchmark data in. Uh, the White House has basically had to come back to Anthropic with its tail between its legs because they threw Anthropic out of the White House, and then Anthropic came up with this mythos thing that finds all the insecurities, and the White House had to say, actually, we need this. So they're having meetings again. The White House and Anthropic are having starting to meet up again. Adobe released a new agentic enabled workforce. Uh, I think they're too late. I think Claude Design is going to knock this out of the park, but um, they have enterprise co-workers. So they actually build in a kind of design co-worker to work with you, an agentic co-worker into their creative clouds kind of system now. So they announced that yesterday. Microsoft, uh, 2 or 3 days ago, announced that they're building Windows 11 will be running agents from the taskbar now. So the agents will be running directly in Windows from the taskbar in the next release of Windows 11. I did have another story about Windows. I don't know if we'll come across it. Samsung, this has been mentioned before, but we hadn't seen it running. Milan Design Week is going on. Samsung have this new little robot that sits on your desk. They call it Luna. And it's tied to an LLM, but it's like the little Alexa things. It's a device you actually talk to, but it has a screen on it, and it kind of makes little faces and things, and it swivels round to look at you and talk at you. They think it will be more engaging than just talking to a screen, so or your cell phone. So that came out from Samsung showed that off this week. There's a number of predictions come out this week. Gartner do annual predictions on AI and technology. Um, This one's actually from last month, but um, I'll show you why this is becoming important. Gartner were predicting that within the next 3 or 4 years, LLMs with 1 trillion parameters will cost less than 95% of what it currently costs. And there's a reason for that, but I'll show you in a minute. They also said, this is a new prediction that only came out this week. They said within the next 3 or 4 years, no software, technical, or IT work will be done without AI. All of it will be done with AI. 75% will be done by humans working with AI, 25% completely by AI by 2030. What does that mean? Well, probably by 2033, 2034, 50% of it will be done by AI, then 75%. Then, yeah, that's where we're going. Uh, and this, uh, and this is, let me come back to that one. So the reason for this, there was another big set of predictions came out from Switas, who are a management consultancy, who do this sort of annual review of AI technology. And they called it this year, they called it the future of AGI, breakthroughs defining April 26. So this transition from generative AI to agentic workflows, compared to their prediction 1 year ago, it was all about generative AI. Now it's all about agentic workflows, which is what we've seen happen over the past year. Breakthrough of one-bit LLMs. What is a one-bit LLM? A one-bit LLM is a way of compressing the data in the large language models. This is why they can make them 90% more efficient. What this means is that you saw that prediction from Gartner. What this means is that the people who are now building a trillion parameter model for the same amount of energy and power in the same data center, they can now build 100 trillion parameter model because of this one-bit LLM technology that's come up over the last year. And what's the number three? Symbolic reasoning and neural networks, neurosymbolic processing. It is reducing This neural symbolic processing is reducing hallucination rates to nearly zero in critical applications. Uh, so this allows these things to work in highly regulated industries. Um, so mixing the rule-based approach with so top down and bottom up, basically, coming in. Seamless modality and infinite context windows. Seamless modality means that the boundaries between processing text, images, audio, and video have been dismantled. These models now natively understand all these formats. Context windows, it means we can now submit millions of tokens. So we can put huge amounts of information, years of financial records into these things, and it will analyze them all immediately. The next big thing is scientific discovery is completely changing. Saying April 26 marks a turning point in drug discovery and global health. So much money being spent on this. Companies using advanced LLMs and the AI chips to power research now, and we're developing medical research so fast now. We need compliance, security, and governance. Basically, we're still behind in this, but we're starting to see tools like Claude Mythos that are protecting us against AI. And this idea that people in the workforce are evolving to be agent managers. agent orchestrators, and AI workflow designers. And there's a lot of articles about that coming out at the moment. This is one of them. AI is not making IT simpler, it's making it more consequential. And this is exactly what it's saying. That the people who work in AI now are more strategic. They have to be automation driven, cross-functional. They are basically controlling agents more than doing actual grunt work. They don't do any of the work themselves. They control the AI that's doing the work. So there's a lot of articles like this coming out in the last 2 weeks. I just picked one of them up at random. Yeah, sure, here. This is the Microsoft one. Microsoft release um, release regular updates, and they tend to do it on a Tuesday. Yeah. Last Tuesday's update, April the 14th, was one of the biggest updates to Windows Microsoft has ever done. Normally, they fix one or two security bugs. Yeah. They fixed 170 security bugs last week. Why? What changed, do you think? Yeah. They got access to Claude Mythos, the one that hacks and finds all the problems. And suddenly they release 2 weeks before this, Anthropic give them access to Claude Mythos. 2 weeks later, they release something that fixes 170 software vulnerabilities in Windows. Unbelievable, you know. It's obviously Mythos that's doing this. Uh, China. Uh, Chinese tech workers. There's a thing going on in China now. Well, there's articles about it where tech workers are being asked to train AI to do their own job. You train AI doubles. You train an AI system to do the job that you do. And people are rebelling against this. You know, I'm going to be out of a job if I train an AI to do it. But this is starting to happen in China, and there's multiple. This is from MIT Technology Review, but there's multiple articles about this story this week. What's happening? Do you remember I told you about um, there's a border control post that is using robots for the first time in China on the boundary between China and Vietnam. Uh, they've released a video of the robots. This is like something from a science fiction movie. It's unbelievable again.
If you're a New York homeowner, then you could qualify.
So this is the robots. Like something from Star Wars. As I said, this is a promo video showing the robots that enter the border. Not terrifying at all. All right. So I announced, I told you last week that in China, They've just done this enormous announcement that they are integrating AI into every level of their education system, from kindergarten up through postgraduate qualifications. They're building robot tutors. They're investing billions of dollars doing this, and they're also using it to train the professors, and all the professors are going to be working with AI, and they predict this will all be implemented by 2030, within the next 4 years. It's an enormous endeavor. What have we done in America? The Labor Department has produced an online training package to tell people what AI is. That's it. That's what we've got. They spent a few $1,000s to build an online training package. This is it. I think we should be doing more, but that's what we've got. Uh, the UN has just started a global dialogue on AI governance, and this is to determine whether AI should be governed centrally by the whole world with global international law, or whether it should be left down to countries. Um, to be honest, I don't expect anything to happen from this. The UN has been talking about AI for 15 years and they've done nothing. We've had all sorts of they've got these things about killer robots, AI being used to kill. They have discussions and they never do anything. So I don't have much hope of this going anywhere, but it started this week. AI doomers playing with fire. Another story. Someone firebombed Sam Altman's house through Molotov cocktails at his house. People believe that AI is going to end the world, and they're actually, you know, um, doing things about it. There were people who went and threw firebombs at Sam Altman's house. So people are taking some of this stuff very seriously. I'm not a doomer. I don't think AI is going to destroy the world, but some people do, and they're very worried about it. You remember I told you that uh, over half the internet is now generated by AI. Yeah. They did this survey this week. 97% of people can't tell the difference between AI generated and human-made music. Of course you can't. That's what AI does. That's what these models do. Um, but over 45% of all music uploaded to streaming sites is now generated by AI. 45% of all music uploaded to streaming sites generated by AI. That's what they find in the survey. Also, in the art world, Val Kilmer, the actor, they've just announced they're making a new film. He died last year. Was it last year or the year before? Last year, I think. Throat cancer. And they've just announced that they're making a new movie with him. He'll be generated by AI. Apparently, his family aren't very happy about that. So we'll see what happens with that one. Um, this week, I came across two new videos of Demis Hassablis, the tech chief, the head of Google DeepMind, talking about AGI, and Sam Altman in an interview talking about AGI. And this is a very interesting one, the Sam Altman one. It's called "Washington Isn't Ready for What's Coming." That's what he's talking about, that the regulators aren't ready for what's coming. Um, yeah, and what I did was I added both of those. Why has it dropped me out? I was logged in a few minutes ago. Um, so I added both of those to the list of videos. You may not, so that I added them to the list of videos on that possible futures, the videos you have to watch for the download, but they're the most up-to-date ones. I added those two videos on there. Just one last thing to remind you of. There's this event this afternoon at 3 o'clock, well, 3 to 3:30-ish. Minds and Machines, Frontiers in AI here on campus. Some really interesting talks. Self-control and the path towards artificial moral agency. What's that going to be about? Intentionality. Path towards artificial moral agency. Human AI teaming for decision making. That's what we're talking about. How humans and AIs are already, the jobs now involve you working with AI, not AI taking over, controlling AI. And I'm not exactly sure what this one's about. Intelligent disobedience in planning systems. But it sounds great. So that's this afternoon, and it's on campus free. You should go to it. Anyone planning to go? Apart from Laura, I know you're going. Anyone else planning to go? Sort of. It'll be interesting. And a chance to meet people who work in this industry, you know. Um, One last funny thing that I read this morning. Japanese researchers have built a robotic tail, like a big dinosaur tail. And what it does, it provides balance. Animals use their tails for balance. So it's got an AI system built into it, and they're going to attach it to old people. And if they start to fall over, the tail will balance them so they don't fall over. It's ridiculous looking, but I think it's super cool. So, yeah,
Evolution
there it is.
say some people, especially the elderly, could
Isn't that cool?
benefit from an extra appendage. That's why they created this 3-foot-long robotic tail to help keep users on their feet.
Isn't that cool? Apparently keeps your balance for old people. Yeah, if I get older and lose my balance, I'd happily wear a robot tail. That'd be super cool. I'd wear one if I wasn't losing my balance, and I'd have a robot tail. Yeah. All right. Any comments or questions before we go on into the seminar bit? Yeah.
Technology put an extension of yourself?
Yeah, it's a pure cyborg thing, an extension. It's an extension. It's still the more physical tool based rather than the cognitive extension, which is what's happening now. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. If it helps people, sure, why not? And it looks cool. I think it's a really good thing. Yeah, very transhumanist. So this. Um, in the second course, we'll be looking at when we start looking at robots and things, we'll also be looking at exoskeletons. You know, the kind of body augmentation things that all that's in the second half of the second course. We'll be looking at that, augmenting your body in many different ways, and exoskeletons are just one of them. All right. All right, I'm going to pause this now, the recording, while we talk in class, and then I'll hopefully come back and talk about the next module a little bit. All right, the seminar and talking went on for the whole class, so I'm going to finish this one here. Hopefully those of you online will have similar discussions. Ours was a big discussion on this one. All right, see you later.